Hey, fellow besters, it's your old buddy Nick here. If you like what you've been hearing, give us a like and a subscribe. But if you really like what you've been hearing, leave us a nice comment. If it's a particularly nice comment, we just might read it on the air. Not only that, the show is evolving, my fellow besters. The show is now available on YouTube. That's right, you don't need to just hear our voice, you can see our voices. Not trying to brag here, but my voice wavelengths are way bigger than Dan's. But help us keep this show growing because, well, it's a heck of a lot of fun to do, and it's even more fun when we have a really engaged audience. Instagram is still the best place to get in contact with us. You can send us your best suggestions there. If you yourself have a podcast or some kind of a platform and you'd like to jump on the mic and be a best guester or guest bester, Instagram is still the best place to reach us. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. That being said, let's get back to the show.
This is the best podcast.
Welcome to This is the Best Podcast, a podcast where we discuss all things that are the best. My name is Nick. Joining me as always, my bestie in besting, Dan.
That's right.
Hey, you got your timing down, buddy.
I did. I think it's because I'm very comfortable because where we're recording right now.
That's true. This is our first new location.
Yeah.
We are in the bowels of Dan's, what would you call this, a BDSM dungeon?
It's semantics.
Some
It's call it whatever you feel right calling it.
For legal reasons, we have to call it a living room.
Technically, that's what the architect would describe it as.
Yes, that's what he was. But I'm currently sitting on one of those swings made of leather and spikes hanging from the ceiling. Dan, it has
Custom made.
Dan.
I'm surprised. Because you're a little girthier than I am.
Oh, I slide right into these things, my friend. I slide right on in. That's why they call me Crisco.
Do they?
That among other reasons.
Crisco Nick. Nick, the Crisco kid.
The Crisco. I got that nickname when Cisco came out. They're like, ooh, Cisco thong song. Nick, the Crisco guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
People are rough.
Woo. They are. I'll tell my parents you said that.
Did they give you the nickname?
You know what? They called it tough love. It was tough love, damn it.
There's not enough of that anymore, is there?
No.
You know who would give tough love?
Who?
A solid captain.
Ooh, you're right. A good captain is all about tough love.
Yeah.
Because captains, they got to make decisions, life and death decisions oftentimes.
That's right. If you're slacking off in the crew, well, you might not even be part of a crew. There's tons of different types of captains, right?
You're right. The term captain really, I think it's kind of a catch-all. There's a lot of different kind of captains out there.
Yeah, exactly. In many different professions, right? The title of captain. But also, just chief, leader,
You're right. I wonder, like, back in the olden days when, we had ships and all that stuff. Like how today there's certain professions that get the ladies to go like, how about that? Like a firefighter or like a celebrity chef or something like that.
Right.
We call them panty dropping.
In the 60s, it was astronauts.
Yes, yeah, exactly. We call those panty dropping jobs. I think other than like the monarchy, an actual captain back in the day was probably the first like real panty dropping job.
Yeah, now it's all rock stars, entertainers, that kind of thing.
You're right. You know what? I miss the days when like rock stars and actors were like seen as like homeless people.
Whoa! When was that?
Remember back in like Shakespearean time or like old ancient Roman stuff? They're all like saying these are like smelly actors and stuff.
People didn't have enough leisure time to really give the artists the attention that they deserve or get these days.
You're right about that. Actually, yeah. I never thought about it, but you're 100% right about that. Maybe that's what it is. It's just a sign of our time.
It's like, oh man, I have all these chores to do when I get up in the morning. I gotta milk the cows, I gotta feed the chickens, so on and so on. And they're like, oh, but there's a Shakespeare play tonight. I don't I'm tired, man. I work all day.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Come on, dude. We're gonna go see a play. No ladies allowed. All the men put on wigs, pretend to be women. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, the original drag, I guess.
Back then, it was just called a job.
Just acting.
It was just acting. You didn't
Right,
consider
right.
it drag.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Today, we're talking about the best captain. And that's kind of, again, this is a catch-all term. So whatever you think of when you think of captain.
All right. I like it. I like it.
We had a quick discussion about this. Normally we have 3 options and we'd pick the best. But since captain is, there's so many, and it's just me and you today, well, how about we cut loose and just do 5 apiece?
Yeah, that's fine because I went down a total rabbit hole, the captain of rabbit holes.
Me too.
The rabbit hole of captains.
If there's a Captain Rabbit, he'll be on this list.
And I feel bad because even with an expanded number, there's still going to be a ton out there that are going to be cursing us.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This is definitely like an episode that I think we can come back to and really repeat it. Because, again, I was looking at... And
we could have been more specific and said best police captain, best ship captain,
Yeah.
whatever, but I think it's going to be more fun to kind of do a variety.
Exactly. It's always more fun where... Again, I don't like to censor people. I like to keep it open and vague.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
That's your other... There's some other nickname there.
I have, throughout the course of this podcast, somebody needs to do a compilation of my many, many nicknames.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, man.
Indeed.
All right. You want to go first? I went first last time.
Okay, I will go first. I will man, this show when it started just so hilarious right off the bat. Such a great ensemble cast. I'm talking about Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I'm talking about the police captain, Raymond P. Holt.
Okay. I've seen clips of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I've seen clips with him in it, and he's very, very funny.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's so funny because there is so much goofiness around him, right?
Mm-hmm.
That becomes the norm, being ridiculous, and he is just so stoic and deadpan and overly formal, comparatively speaking to everything else that goes on in that show, that it is just outrageously funny.
Yeah, I have seen it. It is just a lot of zaniness and him kind of, I wouldn't say non-responding to it, but just kind of like, I've seen it all and this is just happening and we're moving on or something like that.
Absolutely. And so he just, it's just insane the lines that he is able to drop because of that.
Yeah, his lines
Fantastic.
were really, really funny. I think there was one episode where he was in a hot tub or something. It was pretty fun. It was fun. I forget where it went, but
So-
that's a great pick.
It is, as I pat myself on the back for that. But if you people out there listening have not seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it's worth it just for Raymond P. Holt. Captain Raymond P. Holt.
Yeah, make sure you had a captain in front of all these things.
9-9.
The 9-9. Okay, my first pick. This is the very first person that I thought of the second we mentioned this list. I wish I had his first name. He actually just goes by one name. They don't even call him Captain. His name is Quint.
Oh, you're
Also-
going to need a bigger boat.
You're gonna need a bigger boat. Captain Quint of the
Excellent.
orca from Jaws. Quint, I love Quint because I always felt a weird. He always walked that line of he was crazy but also lovable, and my uncle always reminded me of Quint because he's a big fisherman, and he had a similar look to Quint.
Oh, really?
He
Okay.
actually does. He actually does. He had a similar look to Quint, and my uncle was just a natural fisherman. And we always just joke he's just mostly part fish at this point.
Wow.
And I always got the sense from Quint too, like this man just knows his fish, and that this is his world, this is his life. And also he gives it to Richard Dreyfuss, which is always funny.
Oh,
to me.
absolutely. Yeah. Great stories.
Great stories. Oh my God, great stories. But yeah, Quint. He was the very first person I thought of. One of my absolute favorite movies of all time, Jaws. With that, one of my absolute favorite captains of all time. Would you work under Quint?
I don't know if he'd allow it. I don't think I could cut the mustard.
Shit, you're right. I didn't even think about that. I'm very presumptuous on my part. I just thought, like, come on, Quint, let me on the boat. He's like, no, get out of here. I swam with sharks there. Bluefins.
I mean, Dreyfus was there because he had a reason. Otherwise, he would not have been there.
Dreyfus was only there because the chief vouched for him.
Yeah, right.
And even the chief was lucky to be there, too.
Exactly.
So that's my number one.
Excellent. I like it. Okay, let's go. Number 2. Ooh. All right.
It's hard to narrow them down.
It really is. It really is. Okay, I'm gonna get a little funny here and go Captain Caveman. Oonga boonga.
Oh man, I saw Captain Caveman, and I do remember the cartoon actually. But I didn't. He didn't make my list. I really surprised he made yours.
I love that he's billed as the first superhero because he's ancient. You know,
yeah, in a way, isn't he? Who would it? Did you watch the cartoon?
Yeah.
Could he fly? I know he had a club.
He had a club that allowed him to fly. Like he couldn't fly without it. Like
so
his club was basically a magic weapon, like of sorts. It had all sorts. It could transform into different gadgets.
So they stole Thor from him.
Well, I think Captain Caveman was stolen from Norse mythology.
Possibly.
But then he would also pull random shit out of his beard, random useless stuff.
He would do that, and I would also appreciate that he would scream his own name.
Yeah.
As he's like, Captain Caveman.
Yeah, always run around in third person. You gotta love someone who just embraces third person like that.
That always... just as a little side note, one of my absolute favorite, pet peeves, but it's one of my favorite things of human beings, is just be like, if me and you were hanging out and like a girl came by or something, like, or a friend, and then they're all like, oh, I was hanging out with Nick yesterday, and then he was just like, oh, look at me, I'm Nick, and I'm doing this and blah blah blah. And I've always said, because people have done this a lot, well, they say, oh, look at me, I'm blah blah blah. Never in my life have I said, hey, look at me, and then said my own name, and then said the thing that I was going to do. But Captain Caveman proved us wrong because he 100% did that.
He's a caveman. He doesn't know any better.
He's a caveman. Did he have a family?
No, I don't know if he had a family. He may have, but I don't think they survived. Like, he was thawed out of ice, much like someone else who might appear later on this list.
Uh-oh.
Who knows? But yeah, he rolled with the Teen Angels or whatever. They had a van. I think his dwelling was like on top of it.
I think you're right. Yeah. All this sounds so familiar. I got to look back into Captain Caveman.
Yeah, he is. I think he made my list just out of sheer ridiculousness.
Please tell me he's going to be on your final. I want Captain Caveman to win now.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. There's many others to list.
Oh man, what a great number 2. Okay, my next captain. You probably don't remember his name. His name is Captain Jonas Grumby, aka the Skipper from Gilligan's Island.
Okay, yes.
Clyde Pasa. I always loved the Skipper. And look, when you really think about it, he was a terrible sea captain. I mean, he couldn't find a way to get him off the island, or...
Well, I mean, they say it in the theme song. The only reason anyone survived was because of him.
It was the courage of
Gilligan.
It's true. They saved them, but they also doomed them at the same time, when you think about it. Would you want to go down... Would you want to meet your maker for the storm, or just live out your days on a deserted island?
I mean, were the Howls really hurting though? I mean,
the Howls were doing doing just fine.
All the crap that they had couldn't even have fit on the minnow. In retrospect,
it is true. I do love how everybody else kept to the continuity, that they just wore the clothes that they brought, except for the Howls, and I think Ginger and Marianne.
Yeah, Ginger had quite a lot of outfits.
She did. I do like that she brought a ball gown at times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so funny because in comparison to Gilligan, the Skipper seemed very competent.
He was very competent.
But not really, just compared to Gilligan.
You know what?
Otherwise, he was bumbling in his own way.
It's true. You know what I just realized? I dressed up as the skipper a couple years ago for Halloween.
Did you?
My buddy Chewy was Gilligan. He was like, yeah, it was a simple costume, but it was a whole lot of fun. I do love that one.
Yeah, it's an easy one to do.
It's an easy one, but no, very lovable character. I mean, it's hard to hit somebody with your hat, but also still be lovable because he would constantly hit Gilligan with his hat, but he was all right.
He did. He battered that poor man.
But the thing is, we all wanted him to do it. They should. Looking back, they probably, if we do a list of best person that they should have killed immediately, Gilligan's high on that list. That's my number 2.
Killed is strong right there, but I get it.
Poseidon would have taken him.
I mean, because he'd really...
How many times could they have gotten off the island?
So many.
If not for Gilligan.
So many.
All right. That's my number 2.
Okay. We're coming in 3 here with Captain Francis Drake. Real life sea captain, naval officer.
Okay.
The first English naval captain to circumnavigate the globe.
Mm-hmm.
No small achievement.
No
small achievement.
No small achievement
in
indeed.
3 years, I think it was. 3 years.
3 years to really just sail around the globe?
3 years for that particular voyage. And also tons of accolades for his role in battling with the Spanish Armada and putting them down, which the Spanish Armada was widely considered the most powerful navy in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
Good on him.
Knighted
Knighted by the Queen, so most often you just know him as Sir Francis Drake, but don't be mistaken.
It's
motherfucker was a captain.
It's Captain Sir Francis Drake.
Or is it Sir Captain Francis Drake?
Which one would you put first?
I think it's more difficult to be knighted than become a captain.
It's true. But we're going off of what sounds better, what rolls off the tongue better. Captain Sir or Sir Captain? Sir Captain.
Sir Captain.
Sir Captain.
I think so.
Yeah, that works. I dig that. Sir Captain.
Sir Captain Crisco.
Why did I tell you that stupid thing?
I don't know, but I thank you for it.
Oh my God, Sir Captain Crisco. Oh, that's a great pick. That was your number 3.
That was 3.
Okay, I'm gonna go one which I thought you would have mentioned it by now. I'm gonna go. We have to mention him, Captain Han Solo of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, that's true. He is a captain.
Yeah. Now, I always was curious about him because he calls himself Captain Solo. Does Chewie call him that? We never have a translation for Chewie. So just the two of them on the ship. So he's like, I'm the captain. Well, it's you and... It's like me and you are driving in a car and I'm driving and say, Dan, make sure you call me captain when we show up to the gas station. You're like,
right.
Sure thing, jerk off.
Yeah, that's interesting. I bet he didn't. I bet between the two of them...
No, between the two of them,
equals.
they wouldn't do that. And another question I always had, maybe one of our Star Wars fans could tell us this. When Han started working with the rebels, they were calling him Captain Solo. Now, was it Captain... Did they call him Captain Solo because he was captain of the Millennium Falcon, or within the rebels he rose up to a captain rank?
Oh, I believe they upped him to captain for sure.
Yeah. That would have been part of his thing of like, if I'm running from Jabba right now, you guys got to give me a title. I go by captain.
Yeah, I want a salary. I want benefits,
and I want to see the princess's boobs now and then.
You know
that these are the rules. I don't make the rules, but them's the rules.
Sounds like he just made the rules.
No, he didn't. They're in this. These are the space rules. Ask Chewie, and yes, only I can translate for Chewie.
Right? Yeah. Do the Wookiees have a written language? I don't know. Maybe that's a discussion for another time.
Holy crap!
That seems like a gnarly tangent.
Yeah, that is a hell of a tangent. But damn it, that's going to be in my head for a while now. So that's my number 3. Captain Han Solo.
I like it.
Or Han Solo, excuse me.
Well, you beat me to the first space captain. So I'm going to follow that up with another space captain. Probably not who you think. He fights for no one's sake. only something that's deep in his heart. And I'm talking about Captain Harlock of the Yamamoto. He's a space pirate. This is some anime shit right here, pal.
I'm like saying, is this
Yeah.
is this a
For
void?
those of you listening, I'm looking into some dead eyes. He has no idea what I'm talking
I
about.
thought I was like, if this is gonna be like a Star Trek Voyager thing, I'm lost.
Not quite.
Close, but not quite.
Yeah, no, Captain Harlock, man, he, dude, just excellent anime hair, young guy, eye patch, scarred face, epic cape, just cold but noble. You know what I mean?
So what is his slogan again?
Oh, it's just he would say this. He fights for no one's sake, just something deep in his heart.
For no one's sake. So did he have a crew?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he had a crew. I mean, he's had a whole space vessel, man. The Yamamoto.
Okay.
He's not on. Yeah, he's got.
I just feel like it would be difficult to get me to sign up for that crew. I'm like, what are we saying? What are we space sailing for? Like nothing.
He's a pirate, man.
Nothing for the
sustenance.
I'm like, am I getting paid? No. I was all like, we're doing this for my heart.
Yeah, something deep in my heart.
Deep in your heart?
In his heart. Yeah.
Not mine?
No.
You're like, dude, you're not even first mate. Not even first space mate.
When you see images of this guy, you'll go like, okay,
I want to see
I
this.
get it.
I do want to see this. I'm very curious. I have very much a blind spot with anime, but I know there's a lot of amazing animes out there.
Yeah. That's like that's one of the first. Yeah.
All right. Very good. That's your number 4 pick, right?
4, I know. Jeez.
All right, man. We are really going through these. Okay. Let's stick with space. I thought you were going to go with this one. I'm going Captain James T. Kirk.
Ooh, wow.
Out of all the Star Trek ones, and I know we could probably have a whole Star Trek episode. It's so funny. Me personally, I would like to be James T. Kirk if I had to be a space captain. Because I think he's cool. I like the hamminess. I do like the bravado and all that stuff. But if I had to serve...
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
I got to stop you right there.
Okay.
I think you're being disingenuous with me right now.
I'm not being
Of
disingenuous.
those things you just mentioned, because you didn't mention the fact that he's always hooking up with all the different alien race hotties.
Oh, the green... Okay, well, that goes without saying.
Yeah,
all that stuff breeds all these things.
Right.
But yes, you're right. I do like that. And I would be all about the green ladies. I don't know why green is the sexiest non-human color.
Is it? I prefer blue, maybe orange.
No, orange would make me think they're sick. Blue would be depending on the shade of blue.
Gray is definitely the worst.
Gray is yes, gray is definitely the worst.
Red? Red's not bad.
Red would be kind of cool. Actually, for me, I'd go like devil red and like the shade of green, a predator blood green.
Oh, like a fluorescent.
Yeah, I'd want them green.
I personally would prefer a metallic tone, like a gold or a brass.
Oh, damn it, you're right. That would be cool too. Would you go
Lovely.
like platinum or like a gold?
I think more gold, brassy. Do you have a limit on limbs?
The answer is no.
No.
Wait a minute. This might be a whole other list into of itself. Like there was variations of humanoid.
Yes, best humanoid alien. Yeah, I think that is.
Let's get back. Wait,
stumbled onto something.
I know
here.
we've went down another well here. Let's get back to James T. Kirk.
Yes.
If I had to, if I had to be a captain, it would be Captain James T. Kirk. If I had to serve under a captain, I think it would be Picard.
Okay, as far as Star Trek captains.
Star Trek captains we're talking about. I don't know any of the other. I don't know Deep Space Nine or Voyager. I don't know any of those ones. But in terms of big two, I feel like I got a better shot of survival under Picard. If I feel like if I'm Kirk, I'm safe. The rest of you, God help you. Space God help you.
Yeah. Because he might be shagging some alien
he's definitely.
when the Klingons are attacking.
He's definitely. And the more I think about it, I feel like Spock probably should have been in charge.
Yeah, maybe, but he has no.
He's got no
emotion.
He's got no soul. He's got no heart. There's an it factor.
He just processes those feelings differently.
Exactly. This is, we've stumbled across like 5 different lists we can do in future episodes.
I know.
All right, that's my number 4. Captain James T. Kirk.
Jeez, that means it's my last. I have Luke Picard written down here,
Mhm.
but since we just mentioned him, I'm not gonna go there. Oh man,
I'm really surprised we don't have any crossover.
just because there's just so damn
So many of them, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to go for it. The first Avenger, Captain America, Steve Rogers.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's our first crossover.
You're talking about a wimpy young man who just had the heart of a hero, the will and persistence of a good leader. You know, he helps after getting the super serum to defeat the Nazi threat. Gets put on ice for decades. And what I really admire about him, once he gets thawed out, man, his transition to a modern world, fantastically quick.
It was pretty easy.
Yeah.
He was okay with it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
You know, that's a great pick. Captain America, he's on my list too. I gotta say, with the original Avengers cast, I was always a Tony Stark guy because I just like that kind of vibe. I like the snarky comic guy.
Yeah.
But with a little bit of time passing by, I had some time to sit with the characters. Captain America's probably became my favorite character out of all of them because all of those characters became, maybe it's because Tony Stark was such a massive presence that they all kind of turned into Tony. They're all funny. They're all snarky. You know, Doctor Strange is basically, you know, magical Tony Stark. Spider-Man's just adolescent Tony Stark. They're all just Tony Stark right now.
Right.
The only one that is actually like, I'm not doing that, I'm doing my own thing, is Captain America. He's not trying to be funny. And when he actually is funny, like he has his little lines now and then, where one of the Avengers movies when Groot shows up, he's like, I am Groot. And he's like, I am Steve Rogers.
Oh yeah,
that was a great little line, and
yeah.
that felt so genuine to him. It actually did feel like a World War II. Like World War II people do not have our snarky or our sarcasm. Sarcasm wasn't born until like 1986, I think. You know.
Yeah, there needed to be decades of peace for people to develop.
It's
a
true.
Snark.
It's really true. Peace, and also I think like an American thing too. I've noticed. My grandparents, people from the old world, all that, none of them have any sarcasm whatsoever. Everything is very cut and dry. They don't understand like, oh, if it's like 100 degrees outside, I'm like, oh, I'm freezing out here. I'm like, but it's very hot outside. What do you mean? It's cold. They don't process it in the same way. It's different. But that's a great pick.
Yeah, you know, it was interesting because obviously it was many years before those movies would sweep globe, right?
Yep.
But I've always been a Captain America fan, and I always realized growing up that was like kind of like a dark horse kind of hero to have as your favorite. Like everyone loved the Hulk and Spider-Man, and you know all the X-Men. Like Captain America was almost like a B-level celebrity kind of hero. You know what I mean?
He's hard to get into because he's kind of like Superman in a way because he's just like. Well, he's just a Boy Scout. He's a goody two shoes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's hard to. I'll give Chris Evans and the writers of those movies a lot of credit too, because it's very difficult to write a character like that and make him really compelling. All the crappy Superman movies are a good testament to that.
Right. Because it's easy to fall into the one tone, one note situation.
But with the Captain America we get. I feel like he still maintains who he is. He's still a good man, but just the world's gone weird. But he's like, no, I'm not changing. I'm not getting sarcastic. I'm staying where I'm at. And I really, that's a great pick. We could have a whole other podcast. We just talk about the Avengers people and all that stuff.
I know it's probably coming. I mean, I can hear the fans clamoring.
It's a coming. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh man.
Yeah. Right. About to close the door on some of those.
I know. I got two guys that I don't know who to pick. I can go. Okay. I'm going to go. My number 5, Captain Ron, played by Kurt Russell.
Oh, yeah. He's on the outside looking in for me.
Oh, man. I used to watch Captain Ron, and I loved that movie, and I never understood it. I don't know. It was one of those movies I just stare at, and I'm like, so he's Captain Ron? What's the point? This is why is he hanging out with Martin Short? But I think in subsequent years, I've really come to love Kurt Russell. I'm a huge Kurt Russell fan. And I feel like if Kurt Russell would have just, you know what it is? I feel like if Snake Plissken just said, fuck it, and like, I'm just going to Tahiti and starting a new life there, he would churn into Captain Ron. Captain Ron's just a drunken, more mellowed version of Snake Plissken. They still got the eye patch. I'm curious to see if it's on the same side
that's
of the eye.
interesting. Huh?
Yeah, that's a deep cut right there. Yeah. It's just such a silly, fun character. In my head, I'm pretty sure Captain Ron was having sex with Martin Short's wife in that movie. He should have.
Absolutely.
He really should.
I'm
have.
sure it was going on.
Yeah. Even at the end of that, did you see that Captain Ron?
Yeah, but not for many a year.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the movie, remember when like Martin Short develops a set of Captain Ron-sized balls?
Oh,
He's
yes,
like,
right.
I'm the captain now, and his wife was like, okay, yeah, good try. she's like, oh, God bless him, he's trying, but he's no Kurt Russell, all right.
True.
That is my fifth pick, Captain Ron.
Nice.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
I do have a couple. Captain Nemo.
Yep.
Of course, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. You know, none of us hit Captain Jack Sparrow.
I really thought you would have mentioned him.
Well, just thinking back to our time at the Ren Fair, clearly he's several people's best
a lot
captain.
of people got captain. You know what? I actually preferred Captain Barbossa. He seemed like a far more competent captain than Sparrow.
Oh yeah, I mean he was much more competent. Sparrow is a bumbling fool who succeeds despite himself.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Right?
He Homer Simpsons his way through the Caribbean.
Oh, absolutely.
I got two.
I got a couple left. Captain Marco Ramius.
Who's that?
Sean Connery in Hunt for Red October.
Oh man.
Yeah, but I was looking into him. I'm like, you know what? I just don't have enough on your resume there, Captain, to compete with these other guys.
And plus, he defected. Come on now.
Yeah, but from the Russians, so that makes it okay, right?
I guess, but I don't like a quitter.
Sorry for our Russian listeners.
Yeah, I'm sorry for our Russian listeners, but I don't like a quitter. Like you leaving the team.
And of course, Captain Kangaroo.
Yes. I don't know. I know the name Captain Kangaroo, but I don't know anything about the show. I don't know anything about the man.
Yeah, well, I don't think I watched too much Captain Kangaroo, but it's like a children's variety show. But it ran for 30 flippin' years, man.
Did it really?
30 years.
Jeez.
He performed as Captain Kangaroo in over 9,000 times, I think I read.
Man,
that's nuts. I mean, I wonder at some point if the delineation between what was his real name, Bob Keeshan, and Captain Kangaroo. I wonder if that line of delineation kind of like blurred.
Doesn't that drive you nuts when you hear like an actor like that says, "I'm going to play this role for 30 years," versus like I think I heard a story. Joaquin Phoenix was supposed to be Doctor Strange, and he's like, "I don't really want to do 3 movies."
I get it, though.
He's all like, it's a little bit too much for me. And like Captain Kangaroo's in the background going, 30 years here, bro.
Job security, pal.
Job security, all right? I got a 401k. I got dental. I'm going to get my teeth cleaned right after this.
And I have one more, and I think I'm gonna try to do this here. We'll probably edit it out if it doesn't work out here. But have you ever heard this song?
Oh yes, I'm very familiar with this song.
The captain from Captain and Tennille.
That's true. Was he a real captain?
Well, okay, so that's what I had to find out. Right? I'm like, okay, because when we said best captain, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but Captain and Tennille just jumped into my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta know. I never knew. No, he's not a real captain at all.
He's just like the hat.
His last, I forget his first name, but his last name is actually Dragon.
Shut up!
I shit you not. His last name is Dragon.
Captain Dragon.
He played keyboards for the Beach Boys for a period of time, and he always wore a captain's hat at their gigs. So the Beach Boys actually gave him the nickname Captain. They just started calling him Captain,
Whoa.
and it stuck.
I would be the one jerky beach boy and call him Poop Deck.
Yes, you would. Yeah,
just
you
to mess
would.
with him. Oh man,
But
I
so
do love
that's an
that
honorable
song.
mention.
That
for-
is definitely a great honorable mention. I only have 2 honorable mentions. Captain Crunch, which I really thought he's gonna show up, and Captain Ahab.
Right. Well, those are 2 very different captains.
There's 2. No, Dan, they're not similar. If that's what you're trying to
They made
say.
like an animated special of Moby Dick, but Captain Ahab was played by Captain Crunch.
That is true. I'm surprised that the Captain Crunch people haven't tried to make like a cartoon out of Captain Crunch. I feel like there's so many directions you can go with that character. We all know him.
Are there?
Yes. I would want a dark Captain Ahab thing, like Captain Crunch is trying to fight some giant soggy
Milk monster,
some
milk whale.
milk whale or something like that. He's like, this bastard ain't gonna be in my seas. Only crunchy things in my Atlantic. Come on, Ishmael.
Oh
man.
yeah, it's too much.
Those are my 2. Okay. Before we figure out the best, we got to get the worst out of the way. Who's on your worst list, Dan?
Yeah, and you know what? This could have gone as long as just picking out the best, because for every great captain, there's a terrible one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna not go with Captain Obvious.
Oh, is that for the stupid commercials?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not going with that one.
Oh, you're not. I'm like, good. I'm like, thank you, because I hate those stupid commercials.
But that was a thought of mine. That was
Yeah.
the first one I wrote down.
Captain Obvious.
But I'm going with Captain Wilton Parmenter. He, of course, is the U.S. Cavalry captain at Fort Courage from the show F Troop. That's right. A Western military sitcom from the 60s. And, yeah, this guy's actually kind of like the skipper from Gilligan's Island in the fact that he's just a nincompoop, right? I mean, he can't do anything right, but somehow stumbles his way through to success in the episodes, right?
No, I will say it's about damn time F Troop got a mention on this show.
Is it? Yeah.
It is.
Well,
They had it. They paid their dues.
They paid their dues. You're welcome.
You're welcome, F Troop. You're welcome, Nick at Night.
Yeah, William Parmenter, captain.
Oh man, that's a good one. I haven't watched F Troop in way too long, but I do remember loving that show. Oh, my worst list. I have. Oh man, it's been one of 2 people. Okay, I'll give you my honorable mention. The one I'm not going with, Captain Zap Brannigan from Futurama.
Oh, okay.
I love how stupid Brannigan is. One of my favorite lines ever. He's like, "I've mated with a woman. Alert the men." He's a great character. He's probably going to show up on my best list at some point in time.
Best something.
I'll find a way to squeeze him in there. But for my worst, I'm going with Captain Morgan.
Oh, haha.
I think Captain Morgan is a fine mascot for Captain Morgan's rum. My biggest problem with it was Captain and Coke was probably the very first alcoholic drink that, when I would go to the bar, when I first turned 21 and stuff, going to the bars, that was the first drink that I would just drink, because most of my friends that were, 21 and up, that was their drink of choice, Captain and Coke. And then, so I just started drinking it, and I hated it with such a passion. I still do. I'll have a Captain and Coke now and then, and it still sucks. It just doesn't do anything for me. It's, I don't know. It's just first of all, I never understood why rum is the only alcohol that can be spiced. What does that even mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah, I have no clue. Like, what is spiced? Is there spiced tequila? Is there spiced whiskey? It's just spiced rum. Like, what spices are you throwing in there? So it confuses me. But it also it always made me sick, too. So I'm strictly a Jack and Coke man right now. That's kind of become my drink.
Or a Jack and Diane.
Or a Jack and Diane, as Dan loves to point out.
That's Jack and Diet.
Yeah, Jack
Coke.
and Diet Coke, or as Dan prefers to call it, Jack and Diane's from my friend here.
Well, that's an excellent worst. Yeah, I've never been a fan of rum.
No,
And
not a
if
big
you're
rum
the
guy?
captain of rum,
Yeah.
F you.
The only time I do drink rum now is if I go to like a tiki bar. They try to sneak rum in everything.
Oh yeah. But then there's so much else going on that
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
Okay, now that we figured out, we did all the nitty gritty. We got to figure out what is the best, Dan. What are you leading with?
Oh,
Who's your pick?
This is so tough. It is so tough.
I know this is really, really hard.
I mean, coming up with the list was difficult, but now choosing just one.
It's hard like narrowing these things down. I feel like we should do these in teams one of these days.
Oh yeah. I think I'm gonna go Captain America.
All right, that's a solid pick. Solid pick. I'll go Quint. Captain Quint. He's the very first person I thought of when I thought on this list. So he's my man.
There
Quint.
you go. There you go.
And plus he made fun of Richard Dreyfuss, which is always funny to me. Okay, Dan is now rolling the die of destiny.
Here we go.
Whoop. 5. A respectable 5. All right. Come on, Quint. Come on, Quint. 10.
10. Oh, he doubled it. He's twice the
Quint
captain.
is twice the captain of Captain America. Captain Quint is officially the best captain. Man, Dan,
It's fun.
this was a whole lot of fun. This was a wide list. We went in a whole lot of different directions.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm looking at my list and I realize in my notes they're so jumbled that there's a couple honorable mentions that I have to save for another day.
I know. This is one of those things you wanted to do more, but you got to save these things for future episodes.
Exactly.
All right, that being said, Dan, thank you for allowing me in your not sex dungeon.
Hey, I have some lovely parting gifts for you on your way out.
No, this is a great place to record. Very, very cool. I feel very. I like the setting here. It's not all the BDSM stuff.
Oh man, you're gonna wreck my image.
I know. No, guys, Dan's a freak. He's a total freak. But that being said, anything else we got to add?
No, not at all.
All right,
Let's get out of here.
I'll see you next week, Dan. This has been the best podcast.
This is the best podcast.